Hey Ninja, welcome back. Natanya here. I'm happy to have you back. In today's video, we're going to look at weight shifting for crow pose. So in this entire series, we're building up towards our crow pose, sometimes called Bakasana, sometimes called Kakasana. The direct translation of crow is kak. So Kakasana is the actual pose name, but many people have come to call it Bakasana. We'll use them interchangeably. So we've looked at hand activation. We've looked at shoulder blade protraction. If you missed any of those videos, make sure you go back and watch because this is all building on itself. So the next thing we need to understand is that your bones are not going to just lift up off the floor by themselves. You are going to have to transfer enough of your body weight forward in order to allow your feet to lift. And what I mean by that is twofold. People get here, and we'll look at the exact setup of crow pose in a future video. For now, we're just talking about the weight shifting. A lot of people get here, knees on the arms, shifting forward, and then they go, I can't get it. Or they'll shift forward just enough and then fall right back. Shift forward just enough to lift and then fall right back. The problem that is happening here is that we're not shifting forward enough. And the fear is real. The floor is right there. Your face may hit the floor. You can grab a pillow and put it under your face if you're scared, and the fear will go away over time. But the key is to shift forward enough that you're able to lift your feet without falling back, right? So the most crucial point about all of this is joint stacking. I want you to pay very close attention to my elbow in relation to my wrist. This is fundamental. If you miss this, that is why you're not balancing your arm balances. Look at my elbow in relation to my wrist. In order to balance, my elbow must be above my wrist. Science, physics. Yeah, I cannot balance with my elbow behind my wrist. Watch what happens when I shift my elbow to stack over my wrist. If I take my entire situation and move it forward, right about now, my elbow is over my wrist. But remember how we said we need to shift the weight forward more? This is when I'm going to need to gaze forward, not down. If you look down, you go down. Gaze forward and then shift more. Oh, and look, once I've shifted as much as I need to, I have now made it so my feet can lift. And only then will I point my toes and bring my heels to my butt. So if you get yourself here, I really love either filming yourself or do this in front of a mirror, next to a mirror. You're going to want to look forward. But just to figure out if you're in the right place, you can kind of take a glance at the mirror, right? So do this next to a mirror or film yourself with your phone. Shift forward. If you get to the place where your elbow is stacked over your wrist and you're like, I still can't pick up, shift more. I call this the oh shit point because that's the point where you're like, oh my God, I'm going to fall on my face. But that is secretly the moment of balance. Okay. I'm going to take you through the whole setup of the pose in the next video. Don't worry. But I just wanted you to understand this concept of the weight shift. You'll have one weight shift to take your elbows over your wrists, and then you'll have an additional weight shift to actually get your feet to lift. And I will say this again and again and again. I teach thousands of people how to do arm balances and inversions. That is what I do all day, day in, day out. And this is the number one issue. We don't shift forward enough. And the fascinating thing is this is where it becomes way more than just a physical skill. This is where this practice becomes transformational for your life and for your insides. Because when we don't shift forward enough, all that is fear. And how many things in our lives do we do almost, but not all the way? Because that extra all the way is full of fear. Because that's the unknown. That's the place where we might fail. That's the place where we might fall and get hurt. That's the place where we might fall and be embarrassed. That's the place where we make up a story about not being good enough if we don't get the result that we want. So I ask you, if you've been struggling with your crow pose for a while, what is the fear about? Are you afraid to get physically hurt? Are you afraid to be embarrassed? Is it simply a lack of knowledge? But consider that anything that happens on your yoga mat is also happening everywhere else in your life. And if you are a person who gets to the edge of what you want to create, and then when it gets too hot, you go, no, I'll be over here. I'm okay. It's fine. If that's you, then this is an opportunity to break through. Your yoga practice and your life go like this. What happens on your mat happens everywhere else. And breaking through fear, limiting beliefs, these ideas of I can't, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm going to fall. Breaking through that on your yoga mat brings to life incredible possibility everywhere else in your life. So rewind this video, try it again, see how far you can get, and trust yourself to go a little bit further forward. Worst case scenario, face on pillow, you will survive. Get yourself a pillow if you're scared of this step. In the next video, we're going to break down how to prepare and warm up for crow pose, and then we're going to get into it. See you then.